Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Max for a Dead by Daylight video. I know in the past, for the last couple weeks, I've been doing some Meteor Maker discussion videos, and admittedly, I'm finding it a little hard to make some content on it that's not just beginner's guides that people have already cranked out. Um, to me, I've been having more fun doing Dead by Daylight. I switched my stream up yesterday in the middle of Meteor Maker kind of crashing a little bit, and lo and behold, the couple Survivor games I've played, even with teammates DCing, was fun to me. I like the more multiplayer element. I feel like there's a lot more discussion points to be had in a full multiplayer game because Meteor Maker is kind of multiplayer, but co-op building and raiding doesn't get too complex compared to the Dead by Daylight gameplay. And I've just been having more fun doing it. It seems like you guys were more interested in it, so I'm happy to work on this a little bit more. That being said, I know this dev update is a little bit old. This one's from April 5th, so granted, when this video goes out, you've probably already seen other people making videos on it. I just wanted to give my opinion on it because a couple people were asking about it. I'll do my best to make this video relatively short, especially because people already talked about it. So let's just dive into it really quick. Healing, base healing is 16 seconds, self-healing is 24 seconds with medkits because a healing efficiency penalty is applied for medkits. Perfect. I think that the base healing speed no one had a problem with. Self-healing with medkits was generally the problem here. So the fact that they are addressing the healing speeds for self-healing to go down, meanwhile improving healing speeds when healing others. I think the altruistic part of healing with a medkit is now more appealing, and the self-healing component is like, it got nerfed. All the add-ons here, I'm not really going to go into them just because there's so many add-ons and I personally don't know the difference between them, but they've made some different adjustments for, skill checks, blood point bonuses that you get, and so on. But the fact that the medkits are now great for altruism and got nerfed for healing from what we currently have in the game is a great change and a good step in the right direction. I really did like that, so moving on, I think the medkit change was great. Billy reverting the Death Engraving and Doom Engraving add-ons, I think that's great. I don't think people were asking for Billy nerfs, and they listened, so that's really good. They kept all the overheat mechanic changes, so nice. Billy's still in a good spot. Perks, I know this was still a little bit divisive when they were talking about what's going to be announced for the dev update. However, I kind of have a little bit of a different mindset, I guess. Dead Hard, Pain Res, Circle of Healing, these are 3 perks that are getting adjustments from PTB to live, and granted, all of these perks were meta. I don't think people would be shocked to hear that, and in my opinion, if meta perks are getting nerfed, that's a step in the right direction for balance. Granted, Pain Res is subject to possibly being better or worse, but we'll get into that in a second. So I know a lot of people were like kind of upset Dead Hard, Circle of Healing are getting nerfed. However, I firmly believe that these are good changes. Really quick, I'll just go into why. Dead Hard activates when you are unhooked or unhook yourself, so the unhooked survivor is less of a clear target for the killer. If that happened during the PTB a lot, I guess that's really good. I personally didn't play a whole ton for the PTB, but I did note that, at least in this case, you will never have to worry about Dead Hard if you have not hooked that survivor yet, and I think it is really good to know that if it is the first hook for a survivor, the chase should happen relatively quickly compared to the mind gaming of possibly, getting a Dead Hard or successfully hitting a Dead Hard for that matter. So I think it's really good that the maximum number of uses of a successful use of a Dead Hard, to my understanding, should now be 2, which is once after your first unhook, once after your second unhook. So the fact that you don't need to worry about Dead Hard for the first time that you get someone down, I think that's honestly pretty good. I think that other exhaustion perks might actually take the spot over Dead Hard, but I'm probably still going to use it because it's a fun perk to use. I'm bad with it. I know I'd be doing better with another exhaustion perk, but Dead Hard was a very strong exhaustion perk. It was very frustrating to go against, particularly for me because I played a lot of Huntress and like Demogorgon, where your range attacks were very telegraphed, and so Dead Hard had a much easier activation for those killers. So I'm happy to see the change. Even though I use Dead Hard, I think it needed a nerf. So I think this is a great, step in the right direction. Pain Res, the amount of regression is now 15, 20, 25 at the expense of now only activating 4 times. So same activation that the PTB has, but now the regression got cranked up. When I talked about it in my last PTB video, I know that I mentioned I don't think that the percent that it regresses by is enough to warrant a perk slot, but now that it's a flat 25% as opposed to 15, it's like a free old Pop Goes the Weasel, but with the tempo of just an unhook and not needing to go find a generator and kick it. So I do think that a perk equating to an entire generator's worth of regression at maximum efficiency, that's pretty good. I think the perk still has a spot on certain builds. You can't just cycle them out and constantly, shut people down, so that whole portion of pain res is kind of gone. But I do think this is a great change for the perk. I'm happy to see that they recognized it might feel a little too weak. So with these changes, the perk should still be viable, but nothing broken. Last, Circle of Healing. The healing speed bonus went to, I believe these were the original values when it came out, 50, 75, 100, but you still can't self-heal in it. With the base healing changes at 16 seconds, I'm pretty sure that does mean that it's still faster to just heal without setting up the boon, as opposed to blessing the boon and then healing inside of it. But if you do set it up and it's kind of in a way that's away from the killer, you could probably get some really, really good value of looping back to Circle of Healing and needing to heal. However, it does kind of come at a little bit of an expense. And I know this is, I think the perk, just outright, I want to say, I think the perk needed to get nerfed. It was very strong, and rightfully it should have gotten nerfed. The speeds were really good for self-healing. However, I know that 3-genning probably won't die. The perks that they did use, Call of Brine and Overcharge, I believe those from the PTB are still going to be at the rates that they are, so the perks are relatively bad. However, killers like the Knight, who do a pretty good job of maintaining around generators, will still probably do the same thing, kick people off generators and make them walk away if you get the injury state. But now Circle of Healing can't really be used as your counter to 3-genning. I talked about that in a video a couple weeks back where, I don't know if you guys have ever had that experience where if the Circle of Healing was up and there's a killer that's 3-genning, you could really try to work on the generator. Well, the moment you get injured, W key away from all of the generators. The killer's not going to go and leave their patrol path to get you, but your Circle of Healing just lets you reset and go back in. It stalemated a lot of games, and I don't think it's kind of weird to see that without the ability to self-heal, it seems like the play pattern of 3-genning is now stronger because survivors now have less tools to self-heal at their disposal. I'm not talking about self-care, because if you're running that perk, you're really spending a lot of time to heal, and I don't think that's really justified in this case. So the fact that that opportunity of trying to fight back against a 3-gen has gone down, but at the same time, the whole 3-gen playstyle and the perks that are used for it have all been pretty heavily adjusted. So I'd be interested to see kind of how that situation plays out if someone still tries a nerfed 3-gen build versus the nerfed Circle of Healing for the way to kind of keep clawing your way back through the game. But as a blanket change for Circle of Healing, I think this is good. I think the speeds that they were at before didn't really incentivize running the perk. I think Botany Knowledge did the job better if you wanted to heal some people, but this is a significant healing speed boost, and I think people would be happy to see that. Lastly, Autohaven records change. This is a loop that they had talked about. They said that got reworked. I recall the palette being right here, or maybe here. I think it's right here. And now they've made it a little bit more fair. There's a window here. And they said that this one is just, the palette was relatively unsafe, so now it's going to be more fair. Great change. I think that this tile set was relatively weak, so to kind of bring it up to speed is pretty nice, especially if this tile was on the car wall map. The car wall was pretty strong for survivors, so the fact that that got chopped in half, give them a little bit of a tile back. I think that's fine. So that's really it for all the PTB changes. Like I said, I know this was definitely late in terms of a video. I'm going to try my best to keep up with some more DBD stuff. I probably will make a Meet Your Maker guide or video discussion if an update comes out where there's more interesting, relevant things to talk about. I personally don't see myself sticking to it for super long. I like the game. The content's just not there yet. That's at least for me personally. So I hope you guys did enjoy this video. I will be back to normal DBD stuff, DBD shorts, and discussions Not sure exactly what topics I'll pick yet, but we'll figure it out when we get there, right? So thank you, everybody. Have a wonderful weekend, and take care, everybody. Peace.